Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's start with them. Today's revision lecture. So, how was the test? Lengthy as always. Okay, so let's begin with the revision of this Erickson, the personality theory, alternatively also known as the psychosocial aspects of personality development or the psychosocial aspect of. I guess now you guys should use to the lengthy SEQs, and that should not be a big deal. Huh? Okay. So, why there are only 80 participants? Where are the rest of others? They're on break. Then write concisely the exact answer. There is no need to fill the whole, the sheets. Break down the complex problem into the simpler problems. You can manage it via breaking into the simpler portions, into the simpler parts of the complex SCQ of the complex MCQ. When you studied about the thinking process, then we taught you guys that there are two top type of problems, and our brain can only understand the simpler ones, not the complex ones. Our brain only understand those questions, those problems whose answers are fixed or whose answers are known. Got it? So whenever you interact with the complex SEQ, just first break it down into parts and then start writing the answer of each part concisely. Okay, let's start with the Erickson. So before we begin, let first please tell me that what you already know about the difference between the psychosocial development and the psychosexual development of Freud, or the Freud's classic theory of personality development. What did the Freud said about the personality development, that how it developed? I guess you guys are not in line with this lecture, is it? Yes, it's related to the psychosexual development. But what is psychosexual development? Or in simple words, how the personality develops as per the Freud's theory, or what was the idea of the Freud that how our personality develops? No idea. Obviously there are 5 stages, but what was the core ideology behind the personality development? How how he presented that how our personality develops. Okay, let's first define the personality. That what is the personality as per the psychology knowledge? How you guys will define the personality? Traits, yes. What else? Traits are basically the representation of personality, not the personality itself. Characteristics of an individual. Yes, the characteristic behavior. Good enough. Beliefs, yes, obviously. Characteristics of an individual which are used to be stable under the different circumstances. Good enough. Now, the old school of thought, which is also known as the Freud's ideology regarding the personality development, was that when we came into this world, we have no idea regarding the rituals, regarding the attitudes, regarding the beliefs. We have no belief, no memory, even no personality. Got my point? So what did the Freud said that? Freud said that whenever we comes into this world, then we have then we have interactions with the physical objects of this world. Now what will happen, as we don't have any database, as we don't have any memory, so what will happen, that internal anxiety arises. to sort of this internal anxiety, that how to solve this problem, how to live in this physical world, uh, uh, we start taking relief by exploring our own body. Then later on he called the exploration of this our own body the erogenous zones. Why are the erogenous zones? So when we explore our own body, then we develop the sign of relief. We developed a sign of we develop the virtue, we develop the power to tackle those anxieties, those stress that arises from the environment. Yes, player, good. So as a result of this interaction, we learned a new thing, that in the future when the same sort of stimulus, same sort of stressor will come in my life, I will do the same thing. So in this way, our personality, our mind acquire a traits or a quality. Got my point? That was the ideology of the Freud, the classic theory. So let me repeat it. An individual just born, newborn, no memory, no database, have no idea that how to tackle the physical world. When the physical world poses the different challenges, for example the challenge of feeding, the challenge of eating, the challenge of talking, the challenge of making understanding the other people, that what you want, what you need, the challenge of learning the language, etc. So under these challenges, an internal anxiety arises in our own mind. Just take an example. When you just came to this college, then there was an internal anxiety that how to survive in this college. So in the same way, when a newborn uh, baby came into this world, then the similar sort of anxiety arises into his mind. As his mind is empty, he has no database, he has no idea that how to tackle with it. So to tackle this anxiety, he just start exploring his own body. Freud called these exploring regions as the erogenous regions. If the exploration is sufficient, then he will learn that how in future he will respond towards the environment. So this is the exploration of the erogenous regions. So okay, that was an internet glitch. So let's continue with it. कौन कोशिश कर रहा है अच्छी तालीम मुहैया करने की? Let me tell you one unrelevant thing, that no one can embodied knowledge in you. No one can implant knowledge in you until unless you have some quest to gain it. Until unless you're ready to do some sacrifice. Okay, you may be able to got the degree, but you will not be able to got the knowledge until unless you're ready for the sacrifice. Okay, what I was talking about, that the Freud ideas were that our personality develops because of interaction. Why we do interaction with our own body? Because of the anxiety that generates when we first start seeing this world, when we first starting to start exploring this world. Then the anxiety arises because to sort out that anxiety, to sort out that stressor, we just start exploring our bodies. And meanwhile we got a player. If that player is sufficient, then we develop a quality to tackle the stressor in the future life. For example, if someone is stuck at the anal stage, then his or her personality in future would be of the perfectionist, because he learned in the childhood to hold down the anal sphincter. So in the similar way, in the future he will hold down all the problems. He will be doing the similar things in the future, in the as an adult personality. But what was the problem in this theory, the Freud's theory? The conflict arises during it was an acceptable theory for more than like the 20 years, but more than 30 years even. But the problem arises when they say, when they start applying it on those individuals who just have the single parent during the phallic stage. As during the phallic stage, Freud said that there must be the Oedipus complex, there must be the Electra complex. If that complex failed to resolve, then there would be some sort of fixation at in the personality. So they studied individuals who have the single parent, but they have the normal personalities. So from that point they said that there is something wrong with this theory. Then the people Later on, after Freud, they said that there is a much bigger role of environment than as compared to our own body. So no doubt in it that our own psyche, our own mind plays a great role in defining our personality, as mind is the storehouse of our unconscious, mind is the storehouse of our the memories. Why you just post this radioactive label? Okay, as mind is the storehouse of our memories, mind is the storehouse of our unconscious, etc. So they said that no doubt there is a role of the psyche in defining our personality. Slight idea behind the psychosocial development of Erickson's. He said that in the similar way in executive functioning, we start forming his personality, start getting the traits from the environment. Got my point? That was a point of difference from the. Is my voice is clear and loud? As my internet connection is not stable. Give me a feedback quickly. Okay. So that was the point. That was the theory behind this psychosocial thing. And as a just as an irrelevant information, Erickson was a colleague of the Anna Freud. So they both worked on the same project of the Freud, just incorporated the idea of the society. So now, in a refined terms, in a nutshell, what is the Erickson's idea behind the psychosocial development? Individual came into this world, individuals start exploring this world. Anxiety obviously will develop as individual have no learning experiences, individual have no the memory. Then the individual start observing the environment, that the how the other people are doing, how the other people are tackling this problem, and how the other people are teaching me. Then from this interaction of the problem in the mind with the society, he learned how to tackle the new problems. So this theory was the psychosocial development. Hopefully it's clear now. If you have any confusion, then please let me know, because otherwise I will finish the lecture and you got no idea that what was the psychosocial development, why they started it, and how it's different from the psychosexual development. There is no need to concentrate on that was a legend. That was our today's legend. Okay, now there are certain core concepts. Now, please be patient. Please be attentive for the next 15 minutes, just so that I will clear the key terms. You can study rest from the internet, from the book, etc. But the key terms should be cleared. The theory is based on the epigenetic principle. According to this epigenetic principle, there are the personality will mature in a ladder fashion, as ladder have steps, right? So one cannot climb a ladder if we remove the down steps. Is it or not it? So in order to reach the destination, in order to reach the top of the ladder, the bottom steps should be completed. Otherwise, the individual for the his or her own life will continuously, will go into the vicious cycle of completing the previous stages of the previous ladders. So by looking at the previous stages, we can say that we can confidently predict that how the personality will shape in the future. Now the Erickson developed the few terms. That's a negative point. That's a drawback of this theory, is that there are certain scientific terms, there are certain unique terms which have no existence prior to this theory. So you must know, you must understand what is the meaning of these terms. First term was the epigenetic principle. What was epigenetic principle? That the personality development occurs in a ladder fashion. If the initial stages are complete, then we can predict that how the later stages would be, how the personality would be in the as an adult. Second term was the crisis. Crisis means that these are the the challenges, the tough time that an individual face during his lifetime, right from birth till the death. So if the individually face these challenging time, if the individual face this disastrous situation, if the individual face this anxious situations adaptively, productively, as the society expects, the productive criteria is that the as per the society norms, then he will acquire a virtue, he will acquire a a strength to develop for the next stage. If the someone respond towards the crisis, someone respond towards these stressors in a negative way, which the society didn't like, which the society didn't expect, then he will likely to develop the certain problems. He will not develop the virtue, he will not develop the strength in his mind to go further, to go progress in the next stage. Got it? If a stage is successfully overcome, if the crisis is resolved in a successful way, then a virtue or the psychosocial strength will be given in the mind for the next life, for the next stage, for the future life. And if it didn't happen, then no virtue, no strength. Got it? So these three terms are clear or not? First is the epigenetic principle, which is the prediction. Second is the crisis or the conflict. If the conflict or crisis resolved, then a virtue. If not resolved, then the person will not develop this strength. So as per this theory, Erickson divided into the 8 stages. Always remember one thing very nicely, that the first 4 stages are under the control of the society, or under the control of our seniors, under the control of our parents, under the control of our teachers, and the rest of the 4 stages, they are under the control of an individual. Before starting this theory, always remember the personality will shape into the two persons. Just imagine the two person. One person, just concentrate onto this table. One person would have the characteristics of all those listed on the left side, and the other person will have all the characteristics that are labeled on the right side. You cannot develop the both characteristics, both traits, both qualities at the same time. Always remember, either you are develop the trust, or you would be the mistrustful. Either you are autonomous, or either you are suffering from the shame and the doubt in this way. So before starting, now there are the three things should be clear: crisis, virtue, and these two words. What is the meaning of these verses? The meaning of labeling stages as in this fashion is that either the one will develop a trust quality, trust virtue, or either will develop a mistrust. So let's begin with the first stage. So from birth till the 18 month, the basic crisis is that, can I trust this physical world? Can I trust this the materialistic world for the uh, why there is a need to trust to to complete my basic physical needs, like the eating, like the basic sleep, the basic physiological needs. For so the crisis is that, can I trust this physical world for the fulfillment of my basic physiological needs? And from where I will got this basic physiological needs? Obviously from someone from my parents, right? Or someone from my guardians. If my this basic physiological needs are given in an enough quantity, then obviously I will develop, there will be a mark in my mind that this physical world is worthy of, trustworthy. Otherwise, for the whole life, I will become a person who will not trust into this physical world. So while getting my physical needs, while fulfilling my physical need, a virtue of hope will be marked into my unconscious mind, that I am hopeful that this new world is also as protective as the world from which I'm coming. Got my point or not? A newborn baby, he has a certain physiological need which should be fulfilled, like the taking the food, like the sleep, like the basic clothing, etc. If the environment, if the parents are available, if some caregiver is available, if all those needs have been fulfilled till the 18 months, then what will happen, that in the unconscious mind, that person will develop a quality known as the hope. Hope for what? Hope for the that this world is also trustworthy. So how this trait, how this virtue will be translated into the adult personality in forming the long term relations, in making the new friends, etc. If someone didn't develop this hope virtue, then for the rest of life he would be like suspicious, will develop the paranoid personality. Got it? Okay, let's jump to the stage 2. As we said, as per the epigenetic principles, those who have developed the hope, they will likely develop the there's a high chance that those individuals will develop the autonomy. Got it? There is no certainty about any stage, but those who completed the previous stage successfully, those who got the virtue from the previous stage, there are likely chance that they will now also develop the personality in a healthy way while developing this autonomy thing. Let's see what this stage is and what is the crisis of this stage. The time duration is 18 months till 3 years, and the basic crisis is that, is it okay to be me? Is I am okay? Is my incomplete actions are welcomed or they are always criticized? Is those things that arise in my mind, the new ideas, the new strategies of playing with the toys, of playing with the the games of interacting with this physical world, is the rest of the world welcome me or they ban me? If the rest of the world welcome me, if the rest of the world appreciate my ideas, if the rest of the world appreciate my the exploration, then I will develop the sense of autonomy. Yes, I am autonomous. I have some control over my psyche. I have some control over my instincts. I have some control over my life. While if the rest of the world criticize me enormously, if the rest of the world, they always they always put a ban on me that you cannot do this, you cannot do this, look at you, you cannot even pour the water in the glass, like these statements, then for the rest of life I will develop the shame and doubt. I will not be able to take the autonomous decisions. Let's see what's the virtue. So for those individuals who are welcomed by this physical world, who are welcomed by the parents, that yes, you are welcome, you can do your own, you can utilize your own thinking, they will develop the virtue of the will. What is the meaning of the will? Yes, I also have a will, I also have a determination that I can generate some new things, I can generate some new ideas. So how this will translate into the adult personality, that as an adult, those individuals who allowed to practice the autonomy while during this stage, during the 3 years of life, early 3 years of life, they will have a more autonomous personality, they can take their own decisions. Whereas those individuals who have the shame and doubt, who didn't allow to practice this will, who didn't allowed by the parents, by the society to practice their own autonomy, they have the for the rest of life they will have the shame, they will have the doubt. How the shame and doubt will translate into the adult personality, that they will have the low self-respect, they will become the dependent personalities, etc. Hopefully this stage is also clear. Quickly write it down if it's not. I am relating it with the adult personalities because so that it will become interesting for you guys. Now let's say, if someone completed the trust thing, if someone welcomed enough to practice the autonomy, then likely chances that he or she will also develop the initiative. Let's see what's the difference between the autonomy and the initiative. Okay, the basic crisis is that in the previous stage, the basic crisis was, uh, is it okay for me, that is I am acceptable by the rest of world or not? Is I am acceptable with the white color? Is I am acceptable the skin tone which I have? Is I am acceptable the facial features which I have? Is I am acceptable the race which from which I am belonging? That was a question of the previous stage. If I am acceptable, then I will develop the autonomy thing. Let's say, if someone is acceptable, then what would be the next step? He will try to prove his acceptance. How? By asking questions, by doing something unique, by producing some unique ideas, some novel ideas, right? If the world, if the external world, the parents, the teachers, initial teachers, the other family members, they welcome those ideas, then someone will develop thing in the mature personality as an initiative, that he as an adult, he or she would have a initiative personality, can lead, can become leader, have the leadership qualities, etc. While those who banned at this stage, while those who always become the victim of the taunting, etc., they will develop a guilt for the rest of their life, that there is something wrong with us, that we are insufficient, we have the we are incapable, something like this. Let's see, those who are welcomed their initiative, those who are welcomed by the society to practice their own thought, they will develop a virtue of the purpose. Purpose, what is purpose? By purpose means the vision, their own unique taste, their own unique ideology to live in this physical world. Got my point or not? So let me redefine it. First stage was all about developing the trust on this materialistic world. Second stage was the point to make proof of myself, that the way I'm born, the the family to which I belong, the people to which I belong, are they welcoming me or not? If they welcoming me, then I will develop autonomous figure. I will develop an autonomous personality. If they are not developing me, they are not welcoming me, then I will have a sense of, something negative. So in the next day, now is the time to practice that autonomy in the form of ideas, in the form of, the unique things, in the form of the things I am taking my life, in the form of things I am exploring with my life. If the society still welcomes me, then I will develop a virtue of the purpose, that I am also having a purpose. In the future life, I can my personality will develop into something known as the leadership. Are these three stages clear or not? Okay, good enough. So those individuals till now who have the trust, who have the autonomy, who have some initiative, some purpose of life, who are not confusing about their own life, now they will be they become someone who are industrious, right? Now they develop the some sense of, the integrity, which is known as the integrity. Now let's see, what is this industriousness? Age is 6 to 12 years, and the basic crisis, or the basic the basic psychosocial crisis is that either now is I am capable enough that I have my own identity or not. Relate this stage with the phallic stage of Freud. Phallic stage have the same idea of developing the own identity. Although in during the phallic stage, individual will develop the sexual identity, but here the individual will develop the psychological identity, that who am I. Got it? Can I have a place, can I have a point in this physical world or not? Can I, can I be accepted by the people or not? Obviously, those individuals who have their own clear sense of autonomy, those individuals who have the clear sense of, the integrity, they will have some industriousness at this stage. Otherwise, rest of the people, they will suffer from the inferiority complex, or they will suffer from the low self-esteem. So, in a nutshell, what was the purpose of this stage? What was the crisis? That now, for this physical world, do I have some point? Do I have some place? Will the people recognize me? Will the people accept me? This is the time when the children, they formed a lot of friends. This is the time when they took the keen interest in the play, when they took the keen interest during the extracurricular activities, etc. So those individuals who are welcomed by the society, those individuals who, uh, uh, they got a point, they attach themselves with the some peer groups, they will now develop a virtue, they will develop a quality known as the competence. The virtue of this stage is the competence. What is the competence? That unconsciously a label will attach in the unconscious, that I am competent enough that I can compete with the rest of the world. Why I'm competent enough? Because in the previous stages, obviously, I now develop the hope, now I develop the will, now I develop the competence. Got it or not? And the rest of the individuals who fail, who failed by the society, that the society are not accepting him or her, they will develop the inferiority complex for the rest of his or her life. As I said earlier, that The first four stages are under the control of the society. Now let's have a quick review that how. Can you relate it or not? This is how the first four stages are. They are under the control of society. Quickly, my question is that I said earlier that the first four stages are under the control of society. Now anyone can tell me that how they are under the control of society? Quickly. Yes, society acceptance obviously is, society gives us hope, society encourages our autonomy, society encourages our initiative, and society recognizes us in the last four stage. Good enough, good enough, good enough. Thank God you're with me. Okay, so let's begin with the stage 5. Now stage 5 is all about the mature identity. Stage 4 was about the initial identity. Got it? That's the only main difference. Stage 4 was about that either we are now practicing, we are looking at the environment for the 6 years, 6 to 12 year, the lifetime life period. That is there any peer group? Is there any friend group? Is there any family? Is there anyone in the society who is accepting us as an individual, right? If someone is accepting us, then we obviously develop the identity of the same peer group. Please clear this concept right now. The peer group which accepted us in the previous stage, now we have the identity like those people as an adult mature, right? Got my point or what? Let me clear it again. Time period is 12 to 18 years, and the crisis is that who am I, who can I be? In short, that the peer group who accepted me in the previous stage, are they available right now? Are they are accepting me in the similar way or not? If they're accepting me, if they're now taking my ideology, if they're taking my point, if they are accepting me as a person, then I will develop the ideology, I will develop the identity of that peer group. For example, it is a time of your the O level, or the time of your the FSC, the 12 to 18 years. So those adolescents who 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 were capable enough, it's more focused on the individual feeling. That's the main difference. Very good question. The basic difference between the stage 4 and 5 is that in the stage 4, society should accept us, any peer group, any family, our own family or someone else family, any religious group, right? And in the stage 5, the group that accepts us, now we will prove that either the group who accepts us, either they are also accepting my ideology or not. Got it or not? So stage 5 is solely by our own feeling that I am competent enough, that I am lucky one enough that this group accepts me, and this group is taking now my point or not. Or and the stage 4 is all about the acceptance by the environment. Yes, you are saying the right thing. Okay, so during the stage 5, what is the crisis? That who am I? To whom group I belong? The group to whom I belong, are they accepting my ideology or not, or are they just taking me for granted? Got it? So so by if the group accepts us, if the group takes our point, if the group takes our opinion, if the group recognizes us, then we'll have the mature identity of that particular group. So those adolescents who become attached with some religious groups during this stage, during this because of this reason, they are always saying that the teenagers are the most easy to exploit. Why they are easy to exploit? Because they are searching for their identity. For the 6 years, anyone who just make them attached, they will have the identity of that group for the rest of their life. They will have the ideology, the ideas, their the thinking pattern of that particular group. Got it or not? So that's why these teenagers are the most dangerous, most vulnerable group psychologically. And for the rest of people whom they are not attached with any group, they will have the the same identity crisis or the same role confusion, that to whom we belong, that to whom they will try their luck in the different groups. Few years with the one group, few years with another profession or with another group, etc. and etc. And those individuals who develop some sort of role identity, now they have the virtue of fidelity, the sincerity. This is what I was talking about, that those individual, those group that accepts us, we took the core ideology of that particular group. For the rest of life, we are talking in their way, we are thinking in their way, uh, we are very sincere with that particular group. Got it? So this virtue is the fidelity. Now, uh, the sixth stage is the intimacy versus isolation. Now, uh, till the stage 5, let me check. Okay, till the stage 5, now we have our own personality, we have our own autonomy, we have our own point that I am not a, I am not a useless thing. I am also an individual who have an existence. I am also an individual who have my own standing point. I am also individual who have my own unique personality, and that personality is also welcomed by the rest of world. So the next point, the next motivation or the next personality trait is the intimacy or the love. Love is the virtue of this stage. By intimacy mean, according to Erickson, is that now we're trying to find someone who have the similar ideology, similar ideas, similar personality like our own, right? In simple word, if I will summarize it, that now we are trying to find the mirror image of our own unconscious, in simple words, or our own mind. And those people's, they click us straight away, who have our own qualities, or those people during this age group, during this 20 to 40 years, they will click us, who have those things which are missing in our personality. Got my point or not? So what is the motive, what is the crisis of this stage, the sixth stage, intimacy versus isolation? That we are looking for someone who should be the mirror image of our own unconscious, first thing, or those individuals who should have the qualities which we are missing, we are lacking. Like for example, someone is lacking the autonomy during the early psychosocial development, personality development stages, then an individual who is highly autonomous, who is who have the high self esteem, he or she will be attracted by the that individual. But that is not the intimacy. Intimacy will only be maintained by those person, by that particular person, which have the similar characteristics, which have the similar personality traits like me. When I'm talking about the similar traits, it's not like that he or she should have all the traits like me. It means that the core ideology, the core traits of the personality should be the similar. Let me revise this stage. The crisis is that, according to Erickson, he said that from 20 till the 40 years, we are searching someone who have the mirror image of our own unconscious, who have the mirror image of our own mind. Got it? If we found someone with the similar characteristics, then we will become intimate. We are not looking into any other person beside that person. Got it or not? If let's say we are unfortunate enough that we are not finding the person during this 20 years, then we will form the multiple relations. We will be looking one person, another person, another person, who have the similar course, and to whom we are attracting right now at this stage, to those persons, who have the personality traits that we are missing. Got it? And those individuals who become successful enough that they develop an intimate relationship, they will develop the virtue of the love. Love is simply defined as by the Erickson, is that it is a mutual devotion in a shared identity. In simple meaning, it's that the two persons who have the similar personality, who have the similar core personality, most importantly. Got it or not? Quickly. Okay. The next stage is the generativity versus the stagnation. So now those individuals who become fortunate enough that they're welcomed by the society. They have developed their own identity. They have practiced their own identity. They have a sense of, the sense of composition. They have the sense of, that yes, we also have some point in our life, and they are fortunate enough that they become intimate. Those individuals now will generate something new for the sake of society. They will generate something new for the benefit of society. They become, in simple words, in nutshell, they become the selfless. Got my point? Now they will guide the new people, they will guide the new generation. Now the question is that, the crisis is that, now can I make my life count? Can I make a difference? Can I guide my newcomers? Can I guide anyone? Can I make the best use of my experience? So that's the main question, that's the crisis. So the people from the 40 till the 65 age adulthood, they become the generative. They are now generating something out of the way. They become they they are they are guiding the new generation, etc. And for the rest of people who still didn't become the intimate, who still didn't develop the sense of the autonomy, who still didn't develop, who are not welcomed by any group, they will become the stagnant. They will do the routine thing, they will spend the routine life. And those individuals who become generative, they will develop the virtue of the care. Got it? Care. To taken the care of the society, to taken the care of the humanity. Okay. And the last stage is the ego integrity versus the ego disappear. Ego integrity is meaning, in simple word, is that, is my whole life which I spend, is it was based on my terms, or it was based on the terms of just the life or the term of the other people. If it's based on my terms, I spend my own life, I have clear identity, I have clear ideology. More importantly, I spend the life on my terms. I always, I took the hardships, but I never compromise on my principles. In simple words, the person like this, he will have the complete sense of, the integrity. He will have the complete sense of, okay, now nothing is missing in my life, now I can die peacefully. Whereas those individuals who always make compromises, who never develop their own identity, who never practice, who never struggled for the sake of their own identity, now they will have a guilt. The guilt of, let me find some time, let me find some few years, so that I can practice my own life, I can fulfill my own wishes, etc. Right? So let's see what is the crisis in this stage. Okay, now the crisis is that, is it okay to have in me? Is I spend my life on my own terms? Did I make my own identity? Did Can I die peacefully or not? In simple words, and the age duration is, sorry, just a minute, 60 plus the till the death. And those who have the ego integrity, those who develop a sense of, coherence, they will have the virtue of the wisdom. Wisdom is that, now I don't have concern with the physical world. Now I'm ready to leave this world peacefully, and now I can donate all my things, all my knowledge, all my, the literary wisdom, all my experiences towards the next generation. Got it or not? So by ego integrity, what we mean, meaning that, if someone spend the life on his own terms, if someone uh, develop his own identity, if someone was lucky enough to develop the intimacy, etc., then now he can die peacefully, he have no regrets, and he will develop a virtue of the wisdom. Wisdom is that, I don't have any concern with me, I'm not interested in this physical world, now I can die, I'm ready to go into the next life. Okay, so here is the reflection from this whole lecture. First stage virtue was the hope, then is the will, then is the purpose, and when the purpose served, then is the competency. When the competency served, someone accepts us, then we have develop of the fidelity, develop of the devotion for that particular group who accepts us. And after that we are finding someone with the similar personality traits, with the similar mirror images, then the wisdom, then the virtue come the love. And after that we are doing something new, something unique, something productive, and the virtue will come the care for the rest of the humanity. And when we are ready, when we are satisfied with our whole life, then the virtue will come of the wisdom, that I have no interest in this physical world, now I can die peacefully. Oh yes, sure. Let me repeat it. Okay, 5 and 6, right? No, 6 and 7. Mm, okay, stage six. Stage six is the intimacy versus isolation. Is it? Okay. In this stage, we are finding a long-term fellow. We are finding a long-term partner who have the similar personality traits as our own, who have a similar personality core as our own. If we fail to find someone who don't have the same personality trait, then we will spend the rest of our life in the isolation. This isolation is not about the physical isolation, this isolation is about the mental isolation, that there is still a space, there is still a room for someone for to enter someone. Whereas those individuals who develop an intimate relationship, who develop a relationship with someone who with the similar personality core, now their mind will be closed, now they don't have any room for the any next person, now they will spend the rest of life with that particular person. Got it or not? Are you clear about the stage 6 or not? Okay, now jump to the stage 7. At stage 7, the basic crisis is that uh, either we can generate something new or not. Like for example, someone is teaching the behavioral sciences for the rest of the 40 years. Now is he is able to generate something new in this subject or not? Is he is able to generate some, let's say someone is spending his life in the similar way from the last 50 years, for the last 45 years. Now is he able to change it or not? If someone is able to change it, then we will label it as now he is a generative person, now we will label it as a productive person. Whereas rest of the person, rest of the people, they will be stagnant, they are doing the same routine, they are following the same routine. If someone is enough generative, if someone is enough become productive, then he has a virtue of the care. Now he can sacrifice himself for the sake of others. Got it? He developed the virtue of the care. Is it clear? Stage 7 or not? Okay, good enough. So any questions? Yeah, personality develops, blah 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 blah. I didn't give. They didn't instruct me to do the key discussion, so I don't have the key. Well, if you have any question, you can post it. I will answer it. And obviously, no question. It's always clear, right? So how's the life going nowadays? Psychosocial aspects of terrorism. Hey, you don't know about it. Oh, at a society level, at individual level, the preference for the isolation, the the PTSD at the individual level, the preference for the at the community level, the communities will prefer for the isolation. The community will prefer to live alone. They will have the severe unrest. They will have the severe, that thing, the sense of mistrust on the government institutes, etc. These were the psychosocial aspects of terrorism. Why the life is static? You have the more time. You have the more time even to reflect on your own personalities. You have the more time to reflect on your own weaknesses. Yeah, if you wrote it, then it would be good. I guess you guys should use this time to reflect your own personality, to reflect your own weaknesses. More importantly, you should use this time to know how to reflect, how to write down, how to accept your our own weaknesses. Because this time will never come back into your life again. There's so much enormous, so much free time. So, any question related to this particular one? The problem is that you have no idea about your weaknesses. When you will be true to yourself, then the resolution will come at hand. Yeah, there is confusion, but confused times are the best teachers, and hard times are the best opportunities to learn something new. Yeah, that's a limitations. That's a limitation, but you can find something alternative. There's not always need to visit someone and show your condolences, show your concern. There are other ways too. Okay, so no questions. Now the Rickson is clear or not? For exam point of view, let me tell you one thing. You have to concentrate only on the three things. One is the stages. Second one is the time duration, like the 18 month, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, etc. Third thing is the crisis. What is the crisis of the stage, and what is the virtue of the stage? That's it. Stress has now been converted into the distress and most probably the burnout because of the similar routine. Uh, Deadlines can only happen if the motivations are clear. First, clear your motivations. If you are motivated enough, then there is no need for the deadlines. You will do it automatically. You will do it. So first, find that what's hindering your motivation, what is hindering your goal capacity, and what is hindering. What is the roadblock? Maybe, and maybe your it's just your the perceptual error. Okay, then we should end over here and take care. Allah Hafiz.